On June 25, 1901, a feud between former friends turned deadly at the Metropole Building. Armed with a sawed-off shotgun and a brace of revolvers, disgraced former Seattle Police Chief William Meredith ambushed theater owner John Considine outside Geo Guy's drugstore at 2nd Avenue and Yesler Way. Once close allies, the two men had become bitter enemies after Considine's accusations of corruption led to Meredith's dismissal. Meredith fired first. His shotgun blast missed Considine, tearing through the store's front doorway and lodging in the ceiling. Considine fled into the shop, with Meredith close behind. The two wrestled until Considine drew his own .38 and shot and killed the former lawman, according to contemporaneous reporting in the Seattle Times and later historical accounts. The encounter lasted less than 90 seconds. Seattle was transfixed. Though Considine was later acquitted, for years passers-by stopped to peer at shotgun pellet holes still visible in the drugstore's ceiling. The violence passed. The city moved on. Well, the building survived, then slowly slipped into a long, silent decline. Today, nothing remains of the drugstore or the damage. But the Metropole, originally known as the H.K. Owens Building, financed by Henry Yesler in 1892 as a brick phoenix rising from the ashes of the Great Fire, still remains across the street from the Smith Tower. A century after the shooting, it became the site of another fight, not over vengeance, but purpose. Following a damaging 2007 fire and more than a decade of vacancy and false starts, the building was purchased in 2019 by the Satterberg Foundation, a Seattle philanthropic organization that experienced a seismic shift in 2014 when its endowment grew from $4 million to more than $400 million, following a major gift. Instead of treating the Metropole as a conventional real estate investment, the foundation chose to make the building itself a tool of its mission, which centers on social justice, equity, and community-based work. In 2018, it had architect Matt Alfs and his firm Building Work transform the ruin into a hub for nonprofits with office, childcare, and community spaces while meeting the strictest possible environmental standards. The renovation achieved LEED Platinum certification, turning a 19th century structure into a model of modern sustainability. The building is now fully electrified. Old-growth timbers milled in the 1890s have been salvaged and repurposed into stairs and furniture. Daylight reaches deep into the interior, and a structure once sealed and abandoned has been reopened to the public. If the shootout in 1901 reflected a young city struggling to establish order, the Metropole's rebirth signals something quieter and harder, the work of sustaining a city over time. The shotgun pellet holes are gone. What remains is a foundation for the good fight. In our first then photo, the Geo Guy drugstore. Shown in 1900, it occupies the ground floor of the Metropole Building at 2nd Avenue and Yesler Way. 1 year later, the storefront was the site of a shootout between former Seattle Police Chief William Meredith and theater owner John Considine. George Omar Guy's business eventually expanded throughout the region, second only to Bartell Drugs. In our first now photo, representatives from the nonprofit tenants and project team gather in front of the restored Metropole and the adjacent Busy Bee building, which were joined during the renovation to form a single sustainable hub. Today, the Metropole houses 9 nonprofits, which lease space at below-market rates alongside shared offices and childcare and community spaces. In our second now photo, Matt Alfs stands in a light-filled stairwell with the historic Smith Tower visible through the window above. The wooden steps were crafted from old-growth Douglas fir timber, reclaimed from the Metropole Building's structural beams. In our third now photo, Satterberg Foundation Executive Director Sarah Walchick left, and Metropole Community Steward Kendra Walker sit at a conference table in the foundation offices. Like the stairwell, the furniture was custom built with old-growth timber salvaged during the renovation. In our fourth now photo, childcare for staffers of resident organizations is provided by Seed of Life. The facility features 5 light-filled classrooms that preserve the structure's historic character, including exposed brick walls.